And just like that, the entire unit is eliminated. All right, welcome back to the war. And the war is certainly continuing. I think when I last had you guys here, George Washington's army was actually in Philadelphia. And that actually was probably just a turn or two ago. Basically, I had him leave and go to Albany, and all of the Minutemen who were in Albany came to Philadelphia. The idea, I think I already mentioned last time, is that Washington is going to attack British territory over here. And so I was just having them swap places so that Philadelphia will have a garrison to defend it while Washington is off doing his thing. But as you can see, the British were not deterred. They're actually attacking Philadelphia regardless, so we're going to have to fight them off. And I guess we'll talk about the rest of the campaign map stuff after the battle, so let's just get into it right now. All right, welcome to the battle. The Second Battle of Philadelphia. Wow, that's loud when you're that close. Anyway, the British are charging forward, or at least the riflemen are, and so is their line infantry over there on the left, or the left of our screen anyway. They did get rather badly, well, somewhat badly shot as they were coming forward. You saw the cannon and the shots from the citizenry take them out a bit as they were coming up here. But, yes, the cannons back there then managed to knock down this bit of wall here, and I didn't quite move my Minutemen away in time. So they're going to trade shots with the riflemen now for quite a bit, and we have another unit of Minutemen over here as well to fire on them. One thing I didn't notice during the actual battle, I didn't realize the riflemen had put their their ropes up there as if they were going to climb up there. I think we need a little coordination between the infantry and the artillery here. They seem to be having some conflicting objectives. Oh dear, that's very unfortunate there. This is actually kind of a bad fight for the Minutemen, because this is not ideal for them. Because remember, they can all fire if they're all within range, but right now, that's not going to happen. Only the front ranks are going to fire. Whereas I think actually the riflemen are themselves light infantry, so they can fire with all of their ranks. I think the only real benefit we have is the wall is probably blocking some shots, though I'm not sure how many is some. Anyway, let's go see what that line infantry was up to, because they have gone around the side here. And they are going to throw their own ropes and come up the wall here. I was bringing a Minuteman unit over here, but I reconsidered my decision and have them start coming down here. In fact, there should be another Minuteman unit coming over here, as well as one of the Firelock Armed Citizenry units. Ah, yes, there's the one that's coming over here. And here's the Armed Citizenry unit, which is coming over here, but they're going to go along the whole wall and then down the ramp and then over here for some reason. That doesn't seem like the fastest way to get over here, to be honest. You see, at this point, I've told the Minutemen, or I'm trying to tell the Minutemen, to face in this direction so they can fire on the line infantry as they come up. But I'm having difficulty getting them to line up properly. So I eventually decide, you know what? We're going to take them off the wall, like I already mentioned. But of course, look at what they're doing. They are coming off the wall, but they have to, like, stretch out the unit first, which means they're actually going to be somewhat caught by the line infantry here. And I have to give them the order again to retreat. Come on, get off the wall! Get off! Oh, no, 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 no! Don't go back! Don't go back! Go off the wall! Off the wall! Again, I think it is just better for the Minutemen to not be fighting on the walls like this. I definitely don't think it's a good idea for them to be fighting in melee combat with line infantry, because I think line infantry are actually much better melee fighters. Alright, so now they are going to finally get off the wall in slow motion. Come on, get down, get on down. The redcoats are in close pursuit. All right, anyway, I believe at this point, yes, the riflemen have actually started heading around here as well. And I think it's because the AI now sees another way into the settlement, because they actually come over here and they go up the ropes that the line infantry threw up. And so I start moving the Minutemen who were over here further along the wall, though mostly this was just to get them out of away from the bits of wall that the cannons seem to be targeting, because as you can see, this bit of wall has 23% damage, this one's at 73%, and so I just didn't want them to get destroyed by the cannons. Now, the line infantry are coming down that ramp, and here's the Minutemen who were up on the walls. They've formed up over here, and of course we have another unit over here as well. So we can fire on the line infantry as they come down the ramp without taking fire in return. At least not right away. Now, I believe, yes, the British cannons start resuming their fire at some point. Because you'll occasionally see cannonballs land in the fort here. Even though, like, I think they must either be passing through the wall or they've gone over the wall. It's hard to tell. And so there's the Firelock armed citizenry unit. After they did their entire circuit of the wall and down the ramp, they went around this building and are now finally lining up over here. And they'll do some shooting, at least, on the line infantry. Or actually, wait. No, those are the Ferguson riflemen, so they're being shot at now by the armed citizenry. Now, the line infantry actually pulled back a little bit so that my Minutemen were now out of range, and so I'm going to have to push them forward here in a minute once I realize that. I didn't realize it right away. Oh, and here comes some of those cannon shots, and I swear, yes, they're coming like right through the wall. Oh, and this Minuteman unit is firing actually a few shots at them, but I tell them to move since the cannons are hitting this part of the wall. It seemed unwise to leave them there. Once again, the Minutemen resuming their fire on the line infantry as they come closer. The unit actually hasn't suffered nearly as much damage as I thought it had in the battle, and I guess it's difficult to tell when the unit is so split up like that. Oh, and they're also, I guess, somewhat mixed up with the riflemen here, though that unit actually is badly damaged. In fact, they're now retreating. Now, as the line infantry charge over here, I realize that it's probably best not to have the citizenry be here by themselves. So I'm actually going to pull one of the Minutemen units to come over here and take the place of the citizenry over here, while the other unit charges forward. Oh dear. They're going to take up a position over here behind the line infantry. Now, this whole time during the battle, I actually didn't realize this, but the cannons were continuing to fire on this bit of wall, and they're actually going to take it out at one point. Now, what has happened here is that I told the citizenry to go into the house here, and apparently they decided the best entrance was through the line infantry, so I quickly had to tell them to pull back here before they potentially get slaughtered by the line infantry. I have a feeling this man is not going to live. Oh, no, he's getting away! Alright, but anyway, once most of the unit gets away, I actually do tell them to go in the house again, and they start going in mostly from that side. And now the line infantry are broken. You can see the citizenry in here firing as they retreat. I'm not sure why, but for some reason the gate seems to be heavily delayed when it comes to letting men through. It's actually going to happen again later in the battle. Like, they'll clump into the gate trying to get in, and they still hold the gate. So it says controlled by allies. It definitely is not controlled by allies right now. The British are not my allies, after all. And as you can see, In fact, I think it must have just happened. The wall has come down. I actually didn't realize it, but this is actually a way in and out of the fort. You can see there's holes in there. Now, the enemy doesn't actually use it, but I accidentally use it when I tell the Minutemen to go out there. They actually end up, they end up going through here. Which I guess maybe I should have suspected that this would be a way in and out, because there's these convenient arches in exactly the right place where the wall would break and let men in and out. Alright, so the riflemen have returned. And these are the poor sods who are going to walk right up to the gate after it has closed and take some fire from the Minutemen who are there. I do not know why those guys are still here. In fact, I don't remember in the actual battle them being here. So maybe they were. Difficult to tell. So what I've done at this point is I'm telling my Minutemen to go outside the fort here. Because I actually haven't noticed that the riflemen have returned yet, and so I'm thinking that the only enemies remaining are the artillery crew and the cavalry unit out there. I do realize my mistake somewhat quickly, though, and I turn the Minutemen around to come back to the gate, which has in fact now opened and has let more of the line infantry escape. That's interesting. Oh, okay, it does slam in the face of the riflemen. Which is a little odd, because it is going to open for them again here in a moment, and then the Minutemen are going to shoot through the gate at them. And I'm not sure why it even closed, because they were already here. Little Yankee, let me come in. And there we go. The riflemen are taking casualties. And they start routing again. And that is the last we will see of the riflemen. They are truly gone at that point. And which means this artillery crew and this cavalry unit here are in fact the last of the British forces that are attacking the fort. It also means that I'm going to let you guys go for a bit here because we have some maneuvering to do to get all of the Minutemen into position. We basically leave the armed citizenry units here in the fort just in case, like, the cavalry tries to, like, swing around and get into the settlement that way. That way there's someone there to contest them before the Minutemen could perhaps come back. And you see what I mean here? These guys just came out of those holes in the wall there, and I was surprised to see them do it. This Minuteman unit actually came out of that gate, come over here. I was having them take cover behind like this wall here while I gathered some of them up. And this unit came out of this gate as expected, but the other one came out of this gate for some reason. Alright, but anyway, like I said, we have some maneuvering to do, so I will just let you go, and I'll bring you back as the battle continues. Alright, welcome back. So two of the Minutemen units are setting up on the right here to fire on the artillery. The artillery are actually firing on the other two Minutemen units that I've had sort of charge around the corner here to act as a distraction. They will take some casualties, unfortunately, but their Minutemen brethren will save them here in a moment. I say save them. It actually takes a couple of volleys, really, to really bring down the unit here. So I think they get a few shots off on our poor Minutemen who are charging over there. I then push them forward just a little bit so that the whole unit is within range. It seemed like they weren't able to shoot all of them. And there we go. Now they are finally retreating, and the cavalry decide it is time for one final glorious charge at the Minutemen who are over here. They never make it. In fact, the Minutemen over there are the ones who were actually knocking down their numbers here. And yes, the battle did just kind of abruptly end here. I think there must be some kind of criteria for the battle to end immediately. And I'm just not aware of what that criteria is. Because that has happened a couple of times, or I think this might be literally the second time it's happened. Sometimes I'm allowed to chase down the enemy, and sometimes I'm not. And again, I'm not sure what the criteria exactly is. I'm also not entirely sure if those casualties are correct. We'll take this back to the campaign map, and you can see for yourself if it is or not. All right, victory. Soundly thrashed the British and sent them running from Philadelphia. Honestly, I didn't think that force was really one that could reasonably have taken Philadelphia, but I guess it is what it is. Oh, I wasn't aware the British had even stopped blockading the port of Boston. A trade agreement with United Provinces. They're offering money for it. Okay, you know what? I don't mind. All right, so here we are back on the campaign map. So just to really quickly go over things, I already mentioned that General Washington has moved to Albany. And so then he'll head over to Cayuga here in a moment. In fact, his army should finish replenishing by the time he gets there. Now, there were British troops moving through my territory here, and I did have the garrison at Boston and at Maine here, or in Maine, actually take them out. But it occurs to me that I've been recruiting enough troops here that I almost have an army on its own. I was just lacking some cavalry and some artillery, and so as you can see, I've got some artillery. I think after a bit of cavalry, this will just be a second army that can wander over here and take out the British in this direction. Just keep this flank safe so that we can actually start building up some of these places that I've been kind of ignoring, simply because the British would immediately, or at least potentially, could immediately damage them, though in some cases they literally did. Oh, we also need to take care of this. I completely forgot about this artillery crew here that is literally damaging this port here. Yes, and it looks like the British actually just stopped blockading the port for some reason. It doesn't seem like that's a good idea. Because now I think I'm getting trade. Yes, I am. Oh, look at all that money. All right, but anyway, that's fine. They can, if they want to make a stupid decision, we should just let them do it. All right, but anyway, it looks like that's all I wanted to talk about on the campaign map. So I will let you guys go, and I will bring you back as the war continues. All right, welcome back to the war. So I think I mentioned this already, but I was deciding to take the forces that I had here in Maine and kind of make them into an army, and I've basically done that at this point. We've recruited a new general, Giles, I guess that would be Dayton, or maybe Dighton. I think I'm going to call him Dayton. Regardless of how it's supposed to be pronounced. We gave him a bit of cavalry, a bit of artillery, and he's got a whole bunch of infantry. And so he is going to march to this random iron minefield that I haven't built anything on to kick the British out, and then he's going to push over to Acadia. And that should secure this flank a little better, too, so we can start building stuff and repairing stuff without having to worry about the British just immediately damaging it again. Speaking of not having to worry about the British damaging stuff, I have started constructing like farms and repairing trade ports and stuff down here, as the British are either, well, in the case of their navy, they just seem to have left, or maybe just gone down there. In the case of their land armies, I don't think they would actually push past Philadelphia to get to our stuff here in Boston, or the Confederation of New England. But I think we can start building up stuff here without worrying about it getting damaged, and we'll do the same with stuff here as we secure more and more territory. Also, a quick thing that I forgot to mention last time is I did make a slight tweak to the graphics pack that I was using for the units. You may recall that the militia shared the same unit card as the line infantry. Let's see. Oh, they don't have any line infantry. You have any line infantry? Oh, I guess I don't have any line infantry to show you, but they have the same unit card. Oh, wait, I have my own line infantry. Not trained up, but right here. So the line infantry and the militia used to have the same unit card, and it was just a tad confusing because it looked like, some units had, or some armies had line infantry when they didn't, or they had militia when they didn't, or they had a mix and you had to mouse over the units to tell which was which. So I just removed that card from the mod just so that we could see that the militia were distinctly different now from the line infantry. Apart from that, no other changes have been made to that mod. Let's see, we also did kick out that one random artillery unit that was just sitting here in the port, which is why we can now repair it. I sent one of my ships there as well so that the Navy can't, or the enemy Navy can't actually just damage the port. Like, they can blockade it, but they can't actually damage it, as long as there's a ship there. Let's see, we have a couple more units now in Philadelphia just to try and deter the British further. As you can see, they seem to be gathering up more and more troops and are probably going to try and attack again while Washington and Dayton are away. They're going to be away for a while because once Washington takes Cayuga, I want to say Cayuga, but it could be Cayuga. I'm going to call it Cayuga. Until next time when I forget what I decided to call it, and maybe I switch to the other one. So once he takes this settlement here that I'm pointing at with my mouse cursor, he's going to head across the water here and take probably Montreal there. And I didn't realize this, but the British actually do have more territory over here. They have this Huron territory that we could also potentially take. Problem is that our armies are getting quite far away from the homeland at that point, and the British could build up a force here to strike at Philadelphia or maybe even Boston. But hopefully with a second army, things will get hurried along here. So Dayton will take, destroy this force here, take Acadia, and then he can cross the water here and take Quebec. I think I already discussed this in the past, but we'll probably leave these settlements for now until maybe we have a navy or something. And so at that point, Dayton could actually then come south while Washington is still out and about up here, or at least I assume by that point. Actually, armies can move pretty far in this game. I actually wonder who would actually complete their tasks first and would then be available to come south here to start attacking the British. I guess if they're both available at around the same time, I don't think there's any reason to hold one of them in the north. We could just then come south here and start crashing through British territory all the way down to Florida. Because Great Britain does hold territory all the way down there. Now, on the diplomatic front, we have acquired trade with the Iroquois. I think that's how that's pronounced. And also with the United Provinces. So it was awfully nice of the British Navy to leave our ports alone when they did, because now that's just extra money for us. Hooray! All right, now, for the battle this turn. General Washington has left New York, or Albany, New York, and is going to attack Cayuga. I had to think about it. Wait, which one did I want again? All right, but anyway. And his army is fully replenished, so we should have no troubles here, or minimal trouble, I should say, because, I mean, they do have skirmishers. Line infantry, some cannons. It's not a tiny force or anything. No walls, though, so we should be able to just get right in there and kill them. So let's do it right now. All right, welcome to the battle. So we're just charging our army over here to the left of the screen. My deployment zone basically only extended to over here, and I'm trying to get out of range of their cannons, or not out of their range, I suppose, out of their sight. Because when they've taken up these fortifications like this, they can't actually turn the cannons in, well, any direction, really. And they also can't move them because they don't have their cavalry or their horses to pull them away. I'm just moving my army over to be out of range. Now, they are sending their tribal auxiliaries forward, so I'm going to turn my Minutemen and tell them to defend themselves because they're about to be shot. Don't worry, they give much better than they get. And just like that, the entire unit is eliminated. And amongst them was the enemy commander. So now we send the Minutemen back over here again. Basically, we have 2 cavalry units on the left, 2 on the right. The general is back here. The artillery is ever so slowly approaching, but to be honest, they barely participate in the battle. And then the Minutemen are going to be in front. Oh, I can hold down spacebar and show you guys. Okay, there we go. That's where they're going to go. Now, the idea here is that I'm trying to... Oh, actually, while we have a bit of downtime here, I might as well point this out. You may have noticed in past battles that I can go much higher than normal, and also I can go below the ground here. And this is just because I've got the developer camera enabled, so that I can more easily move around the battlefield and get like much bigger views than I would normally be able to. But you may have noticed that it actually has stopped raining up here. So it appears the weather effects don't actually extend up above, I guess, what I assume would be the default camera height. So if you suddenly go, wait, it's raining, and now it's not. Raining, and it's not. And that's just why. I've pulled the camera too high, it would seem. All right, but anyway, the cavalry are charging forward, and that's because they're going to attack the artillery, since the artillery can't really defend themselves. Now, I do not realize that this cavalry unit is heading towards the barrier here, and so we are going to lose a few of our cavalry on them. Fortunately, they are not like Medieval 2, sharpened stakes, where we would just immediately lose a whole bunch of cavalry. We only end up losing 3 or 4 guys, maybe? And the rest managed to make it to the cannons here. And they are duly slaughtered. Now, we can't push forward and get their other unit, simply because, as you can see, their line of infantry is here, and they would gun us down if we were to charge them. So I recall the cavalry. Well, I don't recall them, really. I'm actually pushing the infantry forward, but I send the cavalry back to each flank instead of pushing them forward. At first, I'm telling the infantry to walk, but you know what? I end up charging them forward anyways. For some reason, I felt very impatient in this battle. It seemed like, well, like, for example, I have the advantage, right, with the artillery. I could just maybe set them up on this hill here or something and have them fire at the enemy from the flank here. But for some reason, I just really wanted my infantry and my cavalry to get in there, so I keep pushing the infantry forward and forward and forward, and the artillery gets very little use. Very little use. Here's the ranger unit. They were actually hidden during the battle until they started moving, and maybe that was the case in the replay too? I guess I didn't notice. But anyway, they start charging forward. And they're kind of away from the rest of the units, though, so I decided that they are in a good position to get picked off by the cavalry, so I charge both of the units forward here to take them out before they can maybe rejoin their lines. I'm not sure if they even... Well, I think they get a shot off. Or, well, no, maybe not. Certainly doesn't look like it. I do not think that the Rangers are what you might call a melee unit, so I don't think they stand much chance against the cavalry. In fact, they are already routing and shattered. And none of the other infantry come to their rescue, probably because they're already shattered anyways. As you can see, the Minutemen are charging forward still. Oh yeah, the cavalry basically chases them all the way into the city, and I think kills most of them. I guess we've already killed most of them. But I'll pull them back once I've decided they've gone far enough. The enemy are rearranging their lines ever so slightly. But what I decide to do is I push the line forward again. Basically, what I'm trying to do is get their artillery within range of the Minutemen so that we can fire on them, maybe without taking fire in return. Or if we do, I guess we will have the other units there to assist us. And that should be happening here quite soon, I think. Oh, my artillery. I forgot all about them. Just like I did during the battle. Well, I didn't really forget all about them. But again, they don't do very much. Once they get in position here, we will have them fire a couple of shots, but it's basically at the same time as we start pushing the Minutemen forward, and I get really nervous that my cannons are going to hit my own guys, and so I tell them to stop pretty quickly. You can see the cavalry on the left there is returning from their chase of the Rangers. So this is the part where the Minutemen charge forward. And as you can see, the enemy has kind of ruined my plans to try and just get the artillery within range by pushing their infantry forward. But the AI is kind of all over the place with their infantry, so they just kind of run around, giving the Minutemen ample target practice. I'm not even sure, honestly, if they even turn around to fight back. Oh, there comes one of the few cannonballs that I ended up firing at them. Oh, I just heard another one go flying past the camera there. Oh, there we go. Some shots landing amongst them there. I believe rain is supposed to have a negative effect on, well, I assume the reload rate or maybe the firing of the units, but it doesn't seem to be affecting them all that much. Citizenry here haven't taken a... Oh, I was about to say they hadn't taken a single casualty, but then 9 men just dropped dead. To be honest, at this point the battle is more or less over. Some of these units are not routing, but they're close enough. I believe the cavalry, I send them forward to attack this citizenry unit and to send... Well, not to send, but to start killing these other units as well, like this line infantry unit, citizenry who are there. Oh, in fact, here comes the cavalry now. Ah, it's the citizenry who managed to get off a shot, not the Rangers. Before the cavalry just rushes in there and slaughters the lot of them. Actually, a lot of them are still alive, but they are running and dying, and that is what we want. And here comes the other cavalry unit, going to attack the line infantry there, and as you can see, there's more cavalry in the trees, rushing amongst the enemy and putting them to the sword. As you can see, the screen froze there, so that was when the message popped up asking if I wanted to continue the battle or not. And so now every unit is truly in retreat. Honestly, I didn't really watch what happened to some of these other units in the actual battle. Oh, okay, these are the line infantry here. They are drastically losing their numbers to the cavalry here. Some of them are losing so badly that they are digging themselves into the ground there. How nice of them for them to bury themselves and save us the trouble. Alright, but anyway, that is basically where the battle ends. I just end up, chasing as many of them as I can, killing as many as I can with the cavalry here. So I will let you guys go now, and I will bring you back to the campaign map and the after-battle screen. Indeed, we are quite triumphant. Duly slaughtered the enemy. I have to really stop trying to drag that down. There's nothing below this. Okay, anyway. Let's see. Deployed, lost, kills. Okay, kills are on the right here. Cavalry did the most quite easily, though that was almost certainly because of routing enemies. Though at the same time, they contributed quite heavily to the battle, taking out the Rangers on the left, that one artillery crew. Still, the Minutemen did very well, too. I think the only ones who didn't, maybe, are the artillery, and that's because we barely managed to actually get them in range. Oh, General Washington killed some guys. I don't remember committing him at any point. Huh. I wonder if enemies got around and I just didn't notice. Oh well. Anyway, let's close out of here.
Raise the flag!
Okay, good. This place is not, like, super rebellious or anything. Alright, but anyway, that's that territory taken, so... Oops, wow. That camera really wants to jump out when I scroll like that. But anyway, we've now taken this territory here, so like I said before, George Washington will be crossing the river here and heading... Well, not that way, not that direction. First, he's going to head to Montreal, and then he will head over to Huron territory over there. And of course, we have General Dayton over here who will continue on to Acadia. But it looks like that's going to be it for now, so I will let you guys go, and I will bring you back as the war continues.